Hello and welcome back to Medium Rare. My name is Rag Reynolds and today we have 3 stories to talk about. But before we get into that, I want to encourage you to go follow me on Twitter and on Instagram, and also check out my Patreon if you want to support the channel, because my videos do often get demonetized. And without further ado, let's jump right into the first story. So the first story we're talking about is Hong Kong. I'm sure you've heard about Hong Kong from someone or from somewhere. I've seen people all over social media talk about it, and there seem to be a lot of people who are confused about what's actually going on with Hong Kong, because pretty much everyone seems to know there's protests and there's a lot of violence and things aren't too good right now in Hong Kong. But most people I speak to in person and on Twitter, they don't quite seem to understand what's actually going on. So I'm just going to give you a little basic breakdown of what's been going on there. So essentially what started all of this was that back in April there was an extradition bill that was introduced. And essentially what this bill would have done is it would have allowed criminal suspects in Hong Kong to be extradited out to mainland China under some circumstances. And a lot of people who opposed this bill had the argument that this would expose a lot of people from Hong Kong to violent treatment and unfair trials. Many people have also pointed out that this would give China more control over Hong Kong, and they could use that to target activists or journalists. And if you know anything about the history of China, they are notorious for censorship and all this sort of going after journalists, going after activist stuff. So in response to this, hundreds of thousands of people took to the streets to protest. But then after weeks of protesting, the leader of Hong Kong, Carrie Lam, came out and said that the bill would be withdrawn. But it wasn't exactly just withdrawn entirely, so protests continued because people were scared that the bill could pop back up at any moment. And then eventually September came around and the bill was finally withdrawn entirely. However, by the time the bill was actually withdrawn, there had been a lot of violence taking place in all these protests that were going on. People on both sides were injured and many people were arrested. Police had been seen firing tear gas and rubber bullets, and some of the activists had been seen throwing stuff like fire bombs and bricks and other objects such as those. But now because this bill has been withdrawn, there are a lot of people who are wondering, what do these protesters still want? Why are they still protesting? Why is this still a big deal? Surely it's all over with. Well, not exactly, because the people who've been protesting are not happy with the way that the Hong Kong government and the media have been covering this entire situation. They're not happy with how things have been classified, and they're not happy with how the protesters have been treated. So right now the protesters are still protesting for a few things. One thing they want the withdrawal of the riot description about the protests that were going on, because the government had been describing these protests as riots. They also want amnesty for all arrested protesters, so everyone who has been arrested would go free without charge. They want an independent inquiry into police brutality that has been alleged throughout all of these protests. And they also want the right to vote universally on Hong Kong's parliament. So what's going to be interesting to see now is where things go from here, because China has finally started taking a stance. At first China was staying quiet about all of this, but now China has actually come out making statements such as these protesters are close to terrorists and all sorts of other crazy things like that. And there have also been reports of Chinese police and military gathering along the border in a huge show of force. So it's just going to be really interesting, and also it could be quite terrifying for these people to see what's actually going to happen from here. Anyway, let me know what you think about all of this in those comments down below. And the next thing we're talking about is Belle Delphine. Yes, Belle Delphine, that girl who went viral, that girl who was so famous. She was on all these news shows and everything, all because she was selling her bath water. She's making money on Patreon by selling lewd images of herself. If you ask me, I think Belle Delphine's a bit of a genius. But anyway, let me tell you what's going on now. So shortly after Belle Delphine came out and she said she was going to sell her gamer girl bathwater, her Instagram ended up getting banned, and this was back in August. So her Instagram account was banned, and after that she kind of went dark. She went silent. There was nothing else on her Patreon. She stopped posting on her Patreon where she has people paying her to giving her money to see her pictures. She stopped posting there. And she also went largely quiet on Twitter as well. However, she did make a few posts on there after the fact, but nothing too much. Nothing really gave us an idea of what was going on. The only thing we did see was she put up a tweet saying that she had had food poisoning while she was on holiday. But after these tweets, she was just gone again. No one heard anything from her. People had no idea where she had gone. Has she just given up on things? No one had a clue. Until the other day, Ethan Klein was on his H3H3 podcast, and he gave a little statement. He was saying that he believes maybe she got into some legal trouble because she was sending certain things in the Royal Mail that she maybe shouldn't have been.
Maybe you're right and something legal happened.
I think it might have been a legal thing, because why would she just disappear? No comment anywhere. She became so big. It was
Howard
the buzz.
Stern was talking about it.
Everywhere. The late night guys, Howard Stern, it was the buzz everywhere. So all of a sudden, the UK government's like, you're selling what in the mail? Like the Royal Mail? You can't send used bathwater or urine or whatever else she's sending. Chewed gum, I don't know.
Spit, in our case.
Spit, exactly. I mean, I didn't report her or anything. I mean, she didn't sell it to me.
She didn't. We didn't buy anything.
That's my only guess is that there's some kind of legal issue.
Well, like I said, in the Patreon, there's buzz that she's planning a comeback. So I guess we'll find out.
And after watching that clip, I thought that sounds like a legit reason. That sounded quite credible to me. It sounded like that definitely could have been a reason as to why Belle Delphine had disappeared. However, just yesterday, Belle Delphine resurfaced on her Twitter, posting this alleged mugshot saying, "I got arrested." And I'm just quite flabbergasted, honestly. I'm like, Belle Delphine, a mugshot. I mean, I'm not even convinced. I don't know if this is a real mugshot or not. It could have been faked. I don't know. But this led a lot of people to think, oh, maybe Ethan Klein was right. Maybe she was in some sort of legal trouble over what she's sending in the mail. But that's not where it ended. Belle Delphine posted a tweet trying to explain why she was arrested. "I swear to God, this girl came to my party and stole my hamster. I have no idea why or who the F does that. I spray painted the F out of her car and got arrested. At least I got my hamster back." What? Someone stole her hamster? In this tweet, Belle had attached some pictures, and this is like a Facebook Messenger chat where she's speaking to someone and she has crossed out some names and pictures. So here's Belle saying, "Blank said she saw you carrying my hamster outside but thought it was a joke. But now my hamster's missing, so where the F is she? Have you taken her? Hello? Can you reply, please?" So then this person responds, "LOL, what are you talking about? I didn't take your hamster outside." Belle then responds, "I literally have 2 people now saying they saw you." Then this person says, "LOL, okay then." And then Belle says, "So what the F is this then?" And then she attaches a screenshot of some sort of text. She's obviously had a friend of hers talk to this person that she is now talking to, accusing of taking her hamster. And this other person has asked them, "Hey, did you take Belle's hamster the other night because blank been asking?" And the person says, "LOL, yeah, I thought it would be jokes." And then the other person says, "That's so effed up, why?" I'm at a loss for words. Belle, the next picture Belle posts was this. It's Belle painting a Pepe the Frog clown with rainbow hair holding a gun on the side of this car. What is this timeline? This is the greatest timeline, seriously. Then we have this picture. Then she posts a picture of her hamster, safe and sound. And honestly, this might be my favourite news story of the year. This is amazing. I love this. I don't know what else to say. I don't even know if this is true. Belle could just be making all this up. Another publicity stunt of some sort. I have no idea, but I love it. And I'd love to know what you think about all this in those comments down below. Please, let me know. What do you think about Belle Delphine? What do you think about this whole thing, her being arrested, the whole hamster incident? Hamstergate. Can we get that going? Can we call this Hamstergate? I think we should. Hamstergate. I like it. And the final thing we're talking about today is something that's made a lot of people quite mad. And who could that possibly be about? That's right, Trisha Paytas, because she makes everyone mad for whatever reason. So, how do I even explain this? This is quite bizarre. I'm just going to let you take a listen for yourself, and then we'll talk about it a little bit.
People might think I'm trying to be offensive, or I'm setting back like a movement or something like that. But I want to talk about this because it's something that I've actually have felt for a long time. I didn't feel like I identified as a girl. Now this seems like crazy and weird and shocking because I was born a female. I identify with men better. I love girls. Like I do love girls, and I love like their sensitivity and all that stuff like that. But that's why I identify more as like a gay man, because I like guys, but I also identify as a guy. And then the final thing that kind of brings it full, I feel transgender almost, is I've always had penis envy. This sounds so crazy to say out loud, but like I've just always thought my life would be easier if I had that part. That if I asserted myself, I wouldn't be a bitch, but I would be like a man. So do I think I'm transgender? Yes, 1,000%. Do I identify with my natural born gender? 1,000%.
What, Trisha? Trisha Paytas has come out saying that she is transgender. What? I never saw this one coming anyway. And you know, it's not just she's saying she's transgender. I mean, saying you're trans is whatever, and okay, I'll take your word if someone comes out and says they're trans, but for her to come out and say, I am trans, 100% I am trans, but also 100% I identify with the gender I was assigned at birth, my biological sex. I'm still trying to work that one out. Does Trisha understand what being transgender is? Isn't that like a complete contradiction to what trans is? You identify as a female, you have female parts, but you're trans, you think. You identify as a girl, you are a girl. Do you understand what being transgender is, Trisha? Anyway, people were not happy about this one bit. People were very upset with Trisha, saying that she's doing a huge disservice, being very disrespectful to trans people. She has no idea what she's talking about. Trisha Paytas is a literal effing clown. Saying that you find gay men attractive doesn't make you trans. All her reasons made no sense. Y'all want to act surprised she's pulling crap like this when her prejudiced, attention-seeking ass should have been cancelled a while ago. And we saw Trisha make a couple of tweets herself. Here she's responding to Vicky Vox, who said, sharing your story, now you're trying to sell clicks and tickets. Do you? I pray for the most benevolent outcome for your journey. And Trisha responds, you're disgusting trash. So harmful. Because I don't look like a traditional male, I'm a joke. I pray no one judges the way you are me. I've been hospitalized there 3 times this year. You don't know my struggle. You're a pig and should be deleted off Twitter. She also responded to someone else who had said, if you want to make a video seriously talking about how you feel, you gotta stop with the outrageous clickbaits, title and thumbnails. And Trisha responds, other trans can use the title, but I can't. It's what the video is about in its entirety. No clickbait. Honestly, this whole thing is a cluster. You know what? What is going on here? How are we living in a timeline where Belle Delphine is a superstar who gets arrested because someone stole her hamster and she spray painted their car? Meanwhile, at the same time, in another part of the world, Trisha Paytas sits down in front of her camera to say that she now identifies as a man despite still identifying as a woman. I have no idea what any of this actually means. Maybe Trisha is just trolling. I have no idea. I am flabbergasted. And I, yet again, would love to know what all of you think about any and all of the stories that I've discussed here today, because this video is a bit crazy. And I'm done with it now. So please check out my links in the description down below. Tell me what you think about the stories. And until next time, my name is Rag Reynolds. Make sure you subscribe. This was Medium Rare, and you are welcome, society.